friends. Welcome to episode 297 of School Librarians United. I am your host, Amy Herman. This podcast is dedicated to the issues and challenges school librarians face every day. As a school librarian in my 18th year, I knew I wanted a podcast which addressed the nuts and bolts of running a successful library program. I don't claim to have the answers, but I hope that this is a platform to share resources and exchange ideas. Now is a perfect time to mention that all the ideas and opinions expressed in this podcast by myself, my interview guests, and listeners who reach out to the podcast are our own and do not reflect those of our school districts. When incorporating research, I always make sure to cite my sources. So whether you are a novice or a veteran school librarian, this podcast has something for you. I welcome you and all listeners to reach out with your feedback and episode suggestions. You can reach me either on Facebook, on X, formerly known as Twitter. My handle is at @LMS_United. On Instagram and Threads, you can find me at School Librarians United and on Blue Sky at SLU Podcast or the email address schoollibrariansunited@gmail.com. If you include your mailing address, I'll be sure to send you a podcast sticker. It is now my pleasure to introduce Learnics, which is our newest podcast sponsor. If you are overwhelmed with managing student research projects and wish that there was a better way to guide students towards credible sources and ethical research practices, then you need to try Learnics. Learnics automatically documents your students' research journeys, capturing their searches, website visits, and notes. Learnics then organizes the students' notes, creates perfectly formatted bibliographies, and even generates a snapshot report that reveals key insights into how the student conducts research. With Learnics, you can provide personalized feedback, identify research challenges, and teach information literacy skills more effectively. Visit Learnics at LEARNICS.com to learn more and schedule a demo. If you mention that you heard about Learnics on School Librarians United, you will receive a 20% off your subscription. And now a word from our sponsor, Capstone. Capstone is an innovative publisher and education technology provider of children's content for school libraries, classrooms, and at-home learning. Home of the award-winning PebbleGo research database, Capstone has a passion for creating inspired learning and intellectual curiosity in children, and I'm so excited to be working with them. I'm also grateful to Capstone for their commitment to support the podcast in Season 7. They are offering listeners of School Librarians United a very special discount. Visit shop.capstonepub.com and use the code UNITED to get $20 off an order of $100 or more for both print and Capstone interactive ebooks. That's code UNITED for $20 off an order of $100 or more for both print and ebooks on shop.capstonepub.com. In June 2023, while I was attending ALA's annual conference in Chicago, I was approached by Chris Smith. Chris was on her conference committee and asked if I would give the keynote at next year's conference. I was thrilled and honored to be invited. Over the years, I've gained such a respect for the amazing work being done by Florida school librarians. You can access all those episodes linked in today's show notes. 17 months later, I found myself in Orlando spending 2 unforgettable days immersed in the excitement and energy of an annual conference. I am so grateful to FAME's Executive Board and Conference Planning Committee for this opportunity and for FAME's membership for their warm and enthusiastic welcome. I think you'll agree when you enjoy the many voices I would like to share with you today. And now for today's episode, FAME 24, and my conversation with the Florida school librarians attending their annual state conference this year in Orlando.
My name is Chris Smith, and I always have to say my name slowly because it sounds like Christmas if I say it. I am the current FAME president. That's the Florida Association for Media and Education. And I've got 2 more days left in my presidency. I'm at the FAME conference right now, and I'm excited because we're going to have about 700 people here. It's so exciting, and the weather is beautiful in Florida in November.
Well, and Chris, you and I met 17 months ago, and I'm not going to say you tackled me, but...
I think I did. Yep, yeah. I think that's pretty close.
Yeah, so I'm not going to say you tackled me, but
but I kind of did. I had been listening to your podcast and have just been energized about the different subjects and the way that you approach things. And so I knew I wanted to have a media specialist open my conference, and somebody who had experience and somebody who had viewpoints about how our job is going. And so I just thought you, with all of the various people that you've talked to, would be excellent.
What really resonated with me was all of a sudden, another school librarian came to me and said, in 17 months, you're still going to be relevant. And I could not put into words then or now how much that means to me when it affirms the work that we all do every day.
Well, the theme for our conference is a hope in every chapter. And I have to think that our job is still going to be relevant in the future. And so I have to think that way. We have to think about our positions and the importance that we have in librarians in terms of that we are going to be making it in the future. We have to be living that way and be acting that way because what we do is important.
Madam President, I am so glad that I got to meet you. Thank you so much for all the work that you put together. I know that everybody in this room is directly benefiting from the hard work that you put into this role that you've served. Can I ask, do you have a place on social media where listeners can find you?
I am Chris Thomas Smith, and I'm with a K, K-R-I-S, Chris Thomas Smith. On Facebook, I used to do other stuff, but it just got too much for me.
Absolutely. I hope you have a fantastic conference and you enjoy all the hard work that you put into it.
Thank you so much. We're excited to have you here, Amy.
My name is Sheila. I am a high school librarian in Central Florida.
So tell us, what do you want to share with listeners today?
I want to talk about the passive programming in my library. This is actually my third year as being a high school librarian, and I have been elementary school, middle school, now I'm in high school. And one of the things I noticed was students coming in seemed stressed, from academic stress and personal stress. So one of the things that I did was I purchased games, board games, coloring books, puzzles, jigsaw puzzles, and they come in and during lunch and they play games. The favorites that I have to always have 3 or 4 are Connect 4, Guess Who? That's a big one. And it's really like, games for little kids. But they'll see them on the shelf and they'll be like, wow, I haven't played this game for years. Or I remember playing this game when I was a little kid. Uno is really big, so is Skip Bo. Those are big games. And then I have my quieter students who like to do jigsaw puzzles and color. And just to hear them laughing and socializing, because of course, in Florida, we can't have our phones out at any time during the instructional day. So to hear them laughing and talking and having conversations with each other is great. And it's a great stress relief because they come in looking worried or concerned about something, and then they leave and they're joking and they're laughing, heading to their next class. So I feel like that's a real positive for them. Not only does it help them connect with each other, but it also gives them that comfort of when they were a child playing this game, and it brings back those memories for them.
Well, and absolutely. So you have a no phones policy. Is that across the state?
Well, I know it's in our district, but yeah, from the moment that they walk on campus, their phones have to be put away and they can't take them out until they leave campus. Does it always work that way? No. But I try to give them something to do so they're not worried about, okay, so I'm bored, I'm going to be on my phone. So they have things to do in the library.
Well, and I think what's important is that you also have that consistency, because it's not enough for one teacher to have a policy. If the building has a policy, all of a sudden it relieves the teachers of that burden.
Exactly. Another thing that I do in my library is I have an arts and crafts station. So we do seasonal crafts, and in the fall, I don't know if you're old enough to remember making the notebook paper football triangle. So we did that, and I had the directions up on a piece of paper. They came in, they made the football. I had made some little goalposts out of straws, and they played and they were like, oh, this is pretty cool, So just having those kinds we made friendship bracelets. just having those kinds of things for them to do while they're in the library. Hopefully then, is there a book on this? I have books about Legos and books about making friendship bracelets. So I'm like, if I can get them hooked on those books, maybe I can steer them in the direction of other books.
Sheila, thank you so much for sharing with us today. Is there a place that listeners can find you on social media?
Not really, other than my personal.
I understand, but you've shared some wonderful ideas. I hope you have a fantastic conference.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lydia. I'm a school librarian in Florida. This is my third year being in the library, third year at my school. So I've had a couple of years to see some things in the library that I wanted to improve upon, and this is that year for me.
So let me ask, you're here at this conference. What are some things that you are looking to do that are going to hopefully transform the space that you work in?
Just looking for ideas to increase circulation. My first year, I noticed that the nonfiction section didn't get any love. So after that first year, I really started doing things to see how can I get the kids in that section. So I've learned a little bit about dynamic shelving or facing those books forward. I'm working on signs to get, the kids to be able to find what they're looking for. And happily, that section has become the second popular section next to picture books. So I've gotten great ideas like that by coming to FAME and just sharing in the wisdom of other librarians who have been doing it much longer than me. And I'm hoping to get some more ideas this year.
Oh, absolutely. Well, coming to a conference is the place to do it. So the lineup's impressive, and you have all different types of things you can choose from. Let me ask, were you able to easily find your way to this conference? I know for some of us, it can be a little bit of a struggle convincing our administration of the importance and why we need to go to school librarian conferences.
Yes, luckily in my district, we've got a lot of support and mentoring to tell us how we can get those resources for funding, like fundraising and book fairs, so we can kind of be self-sufficient and not always have to beg for money, it can be complicated depending on your administration.
Absolutely. And when it comes to building out that nonfiction collection, I sometimes put my order up on the monitor and let the kids start to pick what kinds of books they'd be interested in reading. I can't guarantee anything, but those kids love when you're spending money and those books are going to show up on the shelves. So listen, Lydia, I'm so glad you're here today, and I hope you have a fantastic conference.
Thank you so much, Amy.
Hi, my name is Joanne Nelson, and I'm a high school librarian. I've been a librarian in high school for this is my third year. I've always done elementary before, but I've pulled a lot of my elementary strategies into the high school library, and it's made it a lot more welcoming for the kids.
Wait, so I'm curious because you leapfrog over middle school, and I'd love to hear.
I did 1 year of middle school.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about that, because for many people, the idea of moving from elementary to high school would be really intimidating.
I was intimidated, and I had thought about it for quite a few years. But once I jumped into it, I really, really enjoy it. I feel like I can actually really focus on research skills in high school, and I'm learning to connect with the kids. All they are is bigger bodies, and they enjoy the things that the elementary kids actually enjoy as well. One of my goals this year was to make sure that the library is more open to have the students come in. Before, what we were doing, and I observed it for the first 2 years, it was a testing center. And this year I have a new principal, and I'm going to give her many, many kudos, because she has opened up my back rooms into different offices that I can coordinate with, and I can collaborate with them as well. It's not a testing center anymore, so I don't have to be closed all the time. I'm open now. I'm trying to welcome the kids in, the teachers in. I make sure that I listen to them. We're going to open up a coffee bar after the Thanksgiving break, which is hopefully going to make sure that the kids are very relaxed when they come in. I have games when they come in. It's just a fun place to be. And there are kids that have never been in my library that they come in and they say, wow, this place is really cool. And I've noticed just since they've been in there, they might say that they don't want to read, but I notice them browsing the shelves And that's the first step.
Oh, absolutely. And I think what's key, though, is you have the support of your administration, and that makes all the difference.
Absolutely. She has been just amazing. And we've been working closely on different ideas and how to get our messages out. And that's one of the reasons why I'm here at this podcasting workshop, because I want more ways to get my message out to the staff and to the students.
I am so glad we got to spend this morning together. I hope you have a fantastic conference.
Thank you. It was great.
Hi, my name is Alexis, and I am a librarian from St. Petersburg, Florida. My library is an independent school for pre-K through 4th grade. We service all the way up to 12th grade. So there is 15 grade levels at my school.
Oh my gosh. All right. And so your library has to be all things to all people all the time. How do you do that?
Yeah, good question. I have an upper school librarian who services the middle and high school, and together we collaborate a lot. We do a lot of interlibrary loans. Our programming together, we're really trying to foster the independence from the younger grades so then they know what to do when they get into her library.
Fantastic. Well, it sounds like you have to get along. I mean, there can be we have some real strong personalities. How do you make that work? Because I don't know if my ego could handle another school librarian in my space.
Luckily, we have separate spaces. But that to say is that's the lucky part of our scenario. We do get along. That was the great part. I've heard from the past experience. I've just been at my school for almost 2 years. It didn't happen that way. So they really like that we do. And we collaborate. And if we don't, we have 2 separate spaces and we can go to our own offices.
Wow. So tell me, you're here at this conference. You obviously have things that you want to learn, but you're also presenting. So can you give us an idea? What are you presenting at your session?
Yes, I am presenting about empowering students to find what they're looking for independently. So really honing in on how they can find what they want. Teaching them Dewey, teaching them how to look through a collection, through a catalog. Obviously, we don't use a card catalog, but we still have a catalog and how to use that.
Do you also work with them when it comes to digital resources?
Absolutely. I am lucky enough to have a technology teacher. So she does, but I will do it in a technological way, talking about books. So it's not just websites and all that. We also hone in on how to find information through books and using ed tech resources.
Outstanding. I hope you have a fantastic conference. Thank you for joining the fun today.
Thank you so much.
So hi, I'm Michelle Jarrett. I'm the library supervisor for the school district of Osceola County. We have 53 schools in Central Florida.
All right, so you are a director of school librarians. I have to ask, what is the secret to making everybody happy?
I don't, but I try. And listening to them and having empathy and remembering what it's like to be a media specialist, I think is super valuable. And giving them a voice through me is the key always.
So you're an advocate. You are the spokesperson for your crew. Can I ask, is there anything particularly right now on your horizon when it comes to servicing the immediate needs of your librarians who are in the trenches every day?
I'm trying to make sure they're not too stressed out. I'm trying to make sure that their voice is heard and making sure that they feel seen in the community.
Can I ask, we're all very proud of the district we belong to. Can you perhaps share a little something about the district you work in right now and something that you're really excited that your district is doing well when it comes to the school librarians who work in the district?
I'm proud to say that I have 53 certified librarians, one in every one of my schools, and they take literacy very seriously. They work very closely with all the literacy experts and combining the science of reading with the love of reading and making sure that we do that in every one of our buildings.
So you're a big district. How do you get together as a team because there are so many of you?
I am very blessed that I'm allowed to get together monthly with all of my media specialists. They come to the district office or we meet at various schools so they can see the different programs. And I spend an entire day with them once a month. working together.
That is such a gift, and it clearly evolved because there's a strong spokesperson at the helm. Let me ask, your commitment to your state organization is extensive. Would you give us just a quick background? What have you done when it comes to leadership in FAME?
Oh, goodness. I served on many committees until I was president in 2015, and then I continued to serve on legislative committees, conference committees, advocacy, membership, and then I served as president again when we had someone who had to step down, so I stepped in and served a second term, much to the chagrin of my family, I will say. But, and then at this point, I do whatever needs to be done because I love this organization so much. And I think professional development for library media specialists is key, and networking is key, and getting together is the highlight of the year.
Well, and I'm so excited. I'm an interloper. I get to invade this little party, this celebration of school librarians here in the state of Florida. I want to thank you for everything that you've done. Let me ask, what is something you're really excited about? You know, the conference is here. It's sort of like a celebration of us. What are you looking forward to these next couple days?
I love the learning. So for so long, I was doing so many sessions that I didn't get to go to sessions. And now I get to go to sessions and learn from people younger than me. We have such an influx of new library media specialists that meeting them and creating leaders out of them is totally the highlight of this conference.
Wow, you've truly come full circle from being that person to being that leader to recognizing your job now to appreciate this next generation of leaders. Michelle, thank you so much for being a part of this organization and being the reason why I'm here. I hope you have a terrific few days at this conference.
Thanks, Amy. We appreciate it so much.
Hi, my name is Jen. I'm an elementary school librarian, and my favorite way to collaborate is to get in with your new teachers. They're overwhelmed, they don't know what's up from down, and my advice is get in with them, show them what you can do, and then they'll spread it to their teams, and it will spread like wildfire.
Well, let me ask you, not everybody is excited to, do something outside of their classroom. It can be a little intimidating. Can you give us some examples of some really successful collaborations that you're proud of?
Oh, absolutely. Lumio, for example, is a tech tool that a lot of people may or may not know about. And it makes teaching engaging, and it gets them authentically using technology. So I'll pop into a classroom with a ready-made Lumio, and then they'll come back and be like, hey, how did you do that? How can we work with this? And then they're open to collaborating more with those.
Well, and anytime we can make our teachers' jobs easier, they realize after the fact that we are partners in teaching.
Absolutely. I think teachers don't know what they don't know about what we can do and what we're capable of and what we're willing to do outside of that scope.
Fantastic. Listen, you're here for the conference. What is it that you're looking for? We all come with a little agenda of things we want to learn and do better when we go back to our schools. What is something that's on your radar that you're looking for?
I'm looking for the spark again. It's kind of a hard time right now in our state, and I'm just trying to stay focused on how to keep kids excited about reading and how we can do that within the parameters that are set on us.
Well, I know, Jen, you're here. School's awfully lucky to have you, and especially because you're here investing in yourself. Would you let listeners know where we can find you on social media?
Sure. On Instagram, I'm at j_glash, Glash. I'm not really on X anymore, but I'm also on Facebook at Jen Glashing.
Thank you so much, and have a great conference.
Thank you.
My name is Caitlin. I am a middle school librarian, and the book that my students cannot get enough of is Anything and Everything Scary, but most specifically, anything Five Nights at Freddy's. Can't keep it in stock. Doesn't even make it on the shelf.
Well, am I going to say, I have a couple Five Nights as like the series at my high school, because we do have students who are still, they like to see something on the shelf that they feel comfortable reading. It's a comfort read.
It absolutely is. And it's nice because they have the graphic novels and the chapter books. So the kids who are really leaning in towards that graphic novel, I can just kind of push them. Hey, here's something you're familiar with, something that a similar story but let's try reading it in the chapter book format and expand our horizons. And they get excited about that.
Well, and that's about building that confidence. So let me ask you, if somebody were to come into your library, just a perfect stranger, what kinds of things would pop out as clearly being important and a priority in your space that you've created?
I've actually completely remodeled our library to be much more open. It was very closed off, very 1995, and now we are in the 21st century. It's very exciting. So my priority is that it's an open space. You can see everything clearly. It's all clearly labeled. Anybody could walk in and find something that they're looking for.
Can I ask, do you have something that you're excited to see or experience when you're here at FAME?
I am just so excited for all the sessions. Honestly, our keynotes are amazing this year. I'm excited to see yours later. Yeah, I think just getting to interact and just learn from so many other great people is going to be amazing.
Well, conferences are my favorite place to network. So would you like to share your social media with listeners?
I actually don't have anything. It's so boring.
No, I think you're smart because right now it is a place that is really perhaps not the best place for us to spend. I think spending time at your conference is probably the best way to invest in yourself.
Absolutely. I am just so thankful to meet the authors and meet all the other librarians and just come back refreshed after Thanksgiving break with a bunch of new ideas.
Have a great conference.
Thank you.
My name is Shana Young, and I work at a cute little elementary school in Osceola County.
So when you say cute and little, give us some numbers.
Our student population is now halved, so we are down to a little under 400 students.
Pardon me, how did that happen? Where did they go? Is it like an alien abduction? I mean, what are we talking about?
No, we are actually getting ready to do some construction. We're getting a new school rebuilt, so they rezoned our school and sent some of our students to other schools in the area.
So it's a temporary thing.
Hopefully, but we know that there's going to be more construction in our area, and we're going to be adding those students back in other ways.
And when they build that new library, did you get to talk about any of this with anybody who has any decision-making power?
My principal actually calls me in she reviews the 30% drawings, the 60% drawings. Michelle Jarrett was able to change our color because they wanted to make it yellow. And now it's a very beautiful blue.
Well, and there's a lot of color psychology. I know that there's a lot of psychology that goes into what colors evoke in us as humans. So that's smart to have a calming color. There's a reason why McDonald's is red and yellow, because they don't want people to stay there for a long time. Make something blue and people are calm. So let me ask you, Shana, what is it you'd like to share with listeners today?
I'd like to share my advice to a first-year librarian, and that is to find other first-year people to build relationships and to collaborate with, because everyone is drowning together that way.
I think there's something that's considerably less threatening when you're amongst equals. Everyone is all in the same boat together.
Yes, absolutely. When I became a librarian, I'd actually had 16 years of classroom experience, but being a brand new librarian in a brand new school, I had to start from scratch building relationships with the staff. So I found other people who were in similar situations to help support them in their classrooms.
Well, and I think librarians are also lucky because we get to reinvent ourselves. So as somebody who with 14 years of library experience at the elementary level, I got to be brand new again teaching at a high school library. So friends, we are lifelong learners.
That is absolutely true.
And school librarians are known to be lifelong learners. So let me ask you, is there something that you're excited to learn about and you've come here with the hopes of bringing this back to your program?
I'm excited to meet all the authors because we do have money for an author visit this year. So I will be networking to find an author to bring to my students.
You're in the perfect place. Thank you so much, Shana, for sharing with us today.
Thank you very much for having me. And if you want to find me on social media, you can find me on Blue Sky under Books Rule.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Trish. I'm a media specialist at an elementary school in Florida here. And I just would like to share some advice to a first-year me back, 26 years ago. It's okay not to know everything. Just make the kids the most important thing, and share your joy of reading with them and remind even the teachers how much they love reading, because once you get everybody on board, that's where the real connections are with kids and reading, and that just will make your library one of the most wonderful places for everyone to visit.
I love that. So a question, earlier we were talking, you say, you've gone to this conference for years. You are here again. What is it you're hoping to get out of attending this conference yet again?
Well, I love the personal connections that I make with new friends like you. And it's just such a shot in the arm, a boost. It keeps me excited about my profession that I love so much.
Well, it really is an investment in ourselves because we do have to put the rest of our lives on pause and come here. And so it's very exciting. I know you've got colleagues who are here as well from your district. Do you? I'm just wondering.
Yes.
Okay. So how do you get other librarians excited about coming to a state conference?
Well, when media specialist in my district asked, why would I go to Fane? You know, I'm going to miss 3 days of school. Oh, there's going to be a mess when I come back. And let it go. Just come. It is the most amazing experience. One of the amazing things is to meet the authors and listen to other people in the field and get great ideas. You just can't beat that time of professional camaraderie.
Absolutely. Let me ask you, when you are going back to your library, what are some things you're hoping to do moving forward? You know, I know we've got the holidays coming up, but is there something on your radar that you're really excited about?
I'm really excited to share with the students our Sunshine State Reader program. We have so many authors here from our Sunshine State Reader list. And when I tell the kids that I've met this author, and look, I have their signature on this book, they think it's amazing. Like I've met a rock star. I mean, I get so excited about reading and sharing that with the kids again.
So friends, one of the things I really find exciting is when a state creates a recommended list of books. You know, all of us can benefit from that. If you're looking for some easy purchasing decisions that you have to make, so that's fantastic. I am so grateful you had an opportunity to talk with us today. I hope you have a great rest of the conference.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to meet you and be a part of your podcast. Thank you so much for asking me.
Hi, Amy. I'm Sylvia, and I'm from Lee County, and I'm not technically a librarian yet, have all the credentials to be one, and I'm super excited to be here at the Fane conference, but I'm a literacy coach, so I'm soaking all this in.
So that's fascinating. So you're a literacy coach, but then you decided to also get your credentials to be a school librarian.
Yes, because I love books and kids.
Well, and you have a district that allows you to come and do this training. It sounds like you may find yourself in a library very soon.
I really hope so. It seems like I'm in training for possibly next year to be in the position as our school's library.
But that would be fantastic because you are already in the building as an educator. And so you'd be moving into this position. You've already established that rapport with your students and your staff.
Yes, correct.
Well, let me ask you, what are you looking for? Because there are so many things happening here at this conference. What are some things that you're excited to hopefully bring back to your program that you might have very soon?
Well, today was a great first start because I got a lot of the how-to at first, like how to do my job or future job. So today was essential. I just want to bring back this love for reading and inquiry. It's really been a passion of mine because I see kids, they don't want to ask questions. You know, they're afraid to ask questions, afraid to be wrong. And I just want them to explore beyond the Google search.
Well, and you have an interesting background. How do you see your role as the literacy coach playing into your role as a school librarian?
I had a lot of experience with emergent readers, ESOL population. I have a lot of experience with just kids that don't like to read. They're in intensive reading classes. So I'm hoping that I can kind of merge them in there and get them excited about reading anything they like.
I think you are on a fantastic path, and I wish you the very best. I hope you have a fantastic conference.
Thanks very much, Amy. It was an honor.
Hello, I'm Nicolina Oliva, and I am at Trenton Elementary School in Gilchrist County, and I've been a library media specialist for 15 years, teaching for 35.
Fantastic. So tell us, what do you want to share with listeners today?
Well, classroom management skills. I'm on a lot of forums in Facebook and everything, and a lot of the media specialists are like, well, how do you get the kids to behave, especially the older children? And I basically feel like you have to make them want to be there. So engaging them, having activities and presentations that they're going to actually enjoy, things that kind of catch them off guard, make them think you're a little crazy. That always helps. But also target the kids that are the problem children. Make them the person that helps you. They can learn to put books into the shelving. They can do all sorts of things. And, it's a lot of times those kids that are cutting up in class are the ones that need you the most. They need somebody to listen to them. They need a purpose.
Can you give us an example of something that really was a home run for some of your students and really got them engaged so that they weren't likely to become distracted and a nuisance in class?
There's a lot. Okay, so just recently, I had a kid who he just really wanted to be the problem child. He wanted to be the center of everybody's attention. And so he kept doing different things. So I said to him, you know what? I need somebody to help me to do this presentation. Can you come to sit with me? And he looked at me like, what? And I said, just come stand next to me. So he helped me. And when he started getting engaged, I had him writing on the board. I had him using my smart panel, the BenQ, and he did all of the things that I would have normally done, but I taught him how to do it. And then after that, he said, can I do that again?
I love that. Thank you so much. Listen, I hope you have a fantastic conference. And you brought your administrator, and, that takes a certain element of courage. So let me ask you, what was your thinking when you said, you know what, I'm going to a conference, would you come with me? And oh, by the way, it's just going to be a lot of school librarians.
Well, I went from a very, very large district to a very small district that originally didn't really have media specialists. They had old-fashioned librarians at one point, and we've evolved. Our situation has evolved.
Well, we've had to. I mean, this is about a survival strategy of staying relevant.
Exactly. So, not realizing that I was actually going to be a media specialist when I first got offered the position when we relocated, and it was a 6-hour difference of where we were living. So I found out there was like a behind the scenes kind of thing. So I went back into the classroom for a year, and all of a sudden I got observed all over the place. Everybody was in the room, and it was exciting, and it really motivated me. And I said, I want to go back in the library someday. And next thing you know, they said, we're opening a position. And I was like, well, is there going to be an interview? No. Yeah, we chose you. So I said, well, this is great. I'm excited. So I really wanted my admin to know what was going on. I want them to see the full potential of what a media center can be. I want that realistically to happen. And in order to do that, you have to have somebody come with you.
Listen, I think that's fantastic. I am so grateful that both of you are here today. Have a great rest of the conference. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure meeting you, and I loved your opening yesterday. It was great. It was fabulous.
Hi, my name is Cynthia, and I'm an elementary school librarian.
Fantastic. And what do you want to share with listeners today?
I'd like to share that the most popular book series in my library is One Piece, and I'm currently out of it. The circulation for it has been constant throughout the school year and it never returns. So it is as elusive as the treasures.
Let me ask you, how do you give the kids any sort of instruction on how to read One Piece? Because it is manga, and not everybody understands how to. Do you give any sort of instructions on how to read manga?
I do give a small instruction on how to do it. Most of it is showing them exactly where the panels start and how it progresses. But luckily, there's also this nice easy guide in the back of the book, so I can just point at that for my older readers. But my second graders are very much like, how do I do this? Why is it backwards? And we have a whole history lesson with that. It's really fun.
I love that. Now, let me ask you, so you're an elementary librarian. You have One Piece. What are some other really popular titles in your manga collection?
Boruto is super popular, Naruto as well, but I kind of skipped the first volume because of reasons. Another really popular one is Chi Sweet Home. And Clock Strikers, that one's a newish one. I'm not too interested in it yet, but I can see interest growing. Bone is also really cool. I know it's not a manga, but that one, it's like Lord of the Rings, but with short guys.
We're not polyps. They like that.
Well, it sounds like you've been able to do this with the support of your teachers. Have you ever had to defend the fact that you have manga and graphic novels in your collection?
All the time. And it's kind of frustrating because a lot of teachers come to me and say, oh, they can't check out Dogman now. I'm like, they can. It's a book. It can still read it. I have my younger students who don't like reading or they don't know how to read yet. And they're able to like just look through the book and understand, hey, this is how I can learn how to read. And the next thing you know, they've checked out the entire series of that one. They go from Dogman to Keppeler Underpants. And from there, they go into manga or whatever the graphic novels that they're like. Is special interest students are like The Girl in the Sea gets really popular with 5th grade. And New Kid and Dork Diaries is usually the regular jumping point off of all the manga and graphic novels. They go right into the Dork Diaries, Diary of a Kid.
I love it. Thank you so much. I think it's important that people realize that our elementary kids need to have these books as well. Thank you for joining us. I hope you have a great rest of the conference.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Patty, and I'm a high school librarian in Polk County.
Fantastic. What do you want to share with listeners today?
Well, I would like to share about the best advice when being observed. So it could be a surprise. It may not be a surprise, but remember that you are the expert. Even if you don't have the answer to all of the questions, if you speak from your heart and you say, I can look into that, then you will be able to fulfill whatever your administration is looking for. But more importantly, you will give the students the information they need.
Well, let me ask you, we all dread being observed. How have you been able to sort of better prepare yourself for that when they do decide to pop in and your kids aren't necessarily being particularly cooperative?
Well, I always have the standard up on the board because they do like to see the standard. And sometimes you just have to redirect the kids if you walk over to them and maybe you're proximity-wise. And I am at a high school, so sometimes they get sleepy. But, it's just they're humans. Just remember they're human beings. And a lot of times it's really great to remember your sense of humor and just try to interject a little levity to the situation.
Fantastic. I hope you have a great rest of the conference.
Thank you, Amy.
My name is Nikki Slingard. I'm a high school librarian at Ballberry High School in Polk County, Florida.
Well, fantastic. What do you want to share with listeners today?
I think I would just like to share that if you're scared to genreify your library, do it because it really increases your circulation. We have 12 genres of fiction now, and I really only did it because I wanted to decorate each section. So every section is decorated and themed, so it just makes it fun and inviting, and it's easy to find the books, and the kids are just loving it this year, so it's been a lot of fun.
Can I ask, because we always know which sections are most popular, has genreification increased the circulation of sections of your library that before were not necessarily getting the attention it should?
It has. I think historical fiction has probably been the one that has most become more popular. I think it was made it easier to find, and especially for the boys. They love the history and the war stories. The girls like the more, dramatic history stories. So I think that's been the one that's been the most successful.
You said you have 12. What is a genre that you feel was really important and you had to include that other school librarians might not have in their genre fight? I don't have 12 genres in mind. So I'm wondering, what is one that you came up with because you realized you had a collection that needed to be showcased?
I don't think I came up with one in particular for that reason. We honestly used our software to help us pick our genres. So based on what we had, that's what it came up with. Thrillers and mysteries, I think, are probably the most popular with the high schoolers right now. They love the true crime stories. They'll thrill of those, but because we have a lot, but they're all successful. Now, I did help these things need some more dystopian. That's probably our smallest section. But when we had a book tasting last week, that was the one that was the most popular, and those books checked out pretty quick. So we need to grow that section.
Well, fantastic. Sounds like a success. I'm so glad you stopped and talked with us. Have a great conference.
Thank you.
Hi, I am Suzette Calderon, and I work at American Heritage Schools in Palm Beach, Florida.
What do you want to share with listeners today?
Don't be afraid to be absolutely cringy and just absolutely lean into it and go for it. I did like a a couple like TikTok type unboxing videos for my students. I used words like Riz and Skibbity, and they just loved it. I really thought they would hate it, and the students have been coming up to me and absolutely loved it. So just be cringy.
Okay, I myself, I'm going to have a hard time with that one, but it sounds like your program really does recognize the importance of the students seeing themselves in your collection. Tell us, what is something that you're especially proud of when it comes to when administrator walks in? What are the kinds of things that you want to showcase in your space?
I just want to showcase, the books that the kids are picking up, having a great relationship with students, that students come to visit me in the library and talk to me. And I just want the administrators to know that, I have a full space on campus that kids want to come visit.
Outstanding. Did you have to convince your administrators that lunchtime is an important time for kids to come in the library? How do they feel about lunch in the library?
Well, unfortunately, they're not allowed to eat lunch in our library, but we do get very full during lunch. And so that didn't take a lot of convincing. The administrators love that there's kids in my library.
I hope you have a great rest of the conference.
Thank you so much.
My name is Wendy Blunden. I am the media specialist at Tommy Smith Elementary in Panama City, Florida, and I was the 2024 Teacher of the Year.
Oh my gosh. And I love when schools recognize school librarians as Teachers of the Year, because in some cases, they don't even regard us as teachers. So it's nice to be included. Let me ask, what is it do you think that sealed the deal? What do you think convinced your school that you were Teacher of the Year?
So one of my biggest priorities is just making sure that I am doing my best to keep everybody happy. Whether that is fixing their computers, making sure their technology is running, getting them the textbooks they need. I'm the one that they're coming to for all of their crises, and I just want to keep them happy.
Well, and let's be honest, you are the person who can really make or break the day, because when you do all of those things, you are taking a bad day and making it a good day for them. You're an absolute hero.
Thank you. I try my hardest.
Listen, I hope you have a great rest of the conference. Is there something that you're excited to learn about when you're here?
I am mostly excited to learn about how I can collaborate with my classes. We've done a lot of really good collaboration this year, and I want to just keep that going.
Have a great rest of the conference.
Thank you so much.
So my name is Sarah Marston. I am the media specialist at James A. Webster Elementary School. We are a Title I school in St. Augustine, Florida, and I am our 2025 Teacher of the Year for our school.
All right, so let me ask, what is it, do you think, that really sealed the deal when it came to deciding who is going to be this year's Teacher of the Year?
So my biggest push at our school, and I think everybody recognizes it, is that we're really working on our literacy culture. I try to bring books and literacy and reading and vocabulary throughout the entire school into every aspect of what we do. And it's really starting to reflect on the students' learning and the interest in reading.
Well, and I think that's incredibly impactful. What would you say, what's one particular strategy that you've used to infuse this love of literacy into the school itself?
So we do reading goals every quarter, and a couple of years ago I started making a display. It all started with kids walking the red carpet. So I put a piece of red paper on the wall, took their picture, and it looked like they were waving as they walked, and cut out the pictures and put them on the wall. And so since then, every quarter we have a different theme. So this quarter we're doing superheroes. So if they reach their reading goal, they do a superhero pose, or they're flying. I have a picture of somebody lifting a car, and it's just fun and silly, and it inspires them because they want to see their picture on the wall being a superhero.
Well, and you're celebrating your students because they're readers. And I think they're used to being celebrated because they did something, athletic, or they did something academic. But in this case, you're celebrating the fact that they love to read and that it's cool.
Yes, and it's something that get a stuffed animal for reaching their goal too, but the picture is really what gets them, because it gets their face out there and their other students recognize what they've done. So it's a very visual thing for them to say, look what I did, I've accomplished something. It's a silly picture, but I'm so proud of it.
And yet, I'm sure that is more compelling. You're going to get more kids wanting to do exactly that because they're motivated they want to be celebrated too.
Yes, and I think we all do when you think about that. Everybody wants to be recognized. And everybody should be recognized for the good things that they do. So kids are just like us.
And thank you so much. I hope you have a great rest of the conference.
Thank you so much.
Hi, am Rebecca Wesolowski, and I'm the media specialist at West Point Elementary, which is a K-5 school in Orlando, Florida.
And what do you want to share with listeners today?
Well, my tip is when you're being observed, the best piece of advice is to forget about that adult in the room, because we are all there for that child and for that whole room of children. And the best thing we can do is be fully present for them and not worry about the dog and pony show that needs to happen, because the magic is between us, the kids, and the book. And being able to fully integrate yourself and share that magic with them, the adult in the room that's observing you is going to see that, and they're going to feel it, whether you're hitting all those little notches that they need on their checklist. So just be you and have the best time with those kids.
Okay, let me ask you, if I had the opportunity to go to your library, what do you see? What would really grab my attention? What is something that you are absolutely proud of when it comes to the space that you've created for these students?
Oh, wow. Well, it's super welcoming, I think. It's bright and colorful. This is our 8th year open, but everything is about the kids. It's the kids' artwork. It's the kids' projects. It's a space where everything is available at their level of, and I think they're just very used to the routines. So when they come in, they're excited. They're like ready to skip in the door. There's tons of hellos, and they can't wait to get to that spot on the carpet so they can hear what Mrs. Wesso is going to read today.
I love it. I hope you have a great rest of the conference. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Hi, I am Caroline. I've been a librarian in Palm Beach County for 8 years.
Then what do you want to share with us today?
Okay, so I really struggled getting kids to read books this time in our lives. I feel like you're competing with the video games and this digital world and the likes and the TikToks and all that stuff. So the biggest hack I have found recently is that every book I introduce, I have a prompt and I have a story. For instance, Marcus Stroman is one of our SSYRA state books this year, professional baseball player. Well, I have a story when I went to a Marlins game where I got hit with the baseball bats. So I still have the bats. The kids are fascinated. And so I tell my story and then I lead into the book with about Marcus Stroman. So they have a hook, they're interested, they're on the edge of their seat with your story, and then they want to hear more of the book story. Another one was The Big Sting, where the grandchildren go see the grandfather, and he has a rotary phone. And they're like, what is this? And how do you use it? Well, I had to get one over the summer and show the kids how this is what I had growing up in the 1980s, and this is how you use it. They're mesmerized. I think it's the coolest thing ever.
I love it. You know, I remember one of my libraries, I had a row of 5 typewriters, and the kids would get to use the typewriters, and it was a big attraction in my space.
I love it. I love it. It's like bringing this Smithsonian alive. I love the old.
Well, and it's real. It becomes very real because they can actually, it goes from being just something they're imagining to something that is real. But let me ask you, you're here presenting at a conference. What is it that inspired you to present, and what are you sharing with people today?
Well, I'm presenting about advocating for your library. People don't know what we do. And we do so much, and it's really important to get it out there. And Twitter was great, like you said yesterday, but I still, in fact, use it because that's where I get connected with a lot of other librarians across the county and across the country as far as ideas, how to best advocate, teaching ideas, advocacy ideas, parent ideas. It's all out there for us to use.
So I'm really curious, how do we advocate for our spaces without alienating or agitating to the point where our administrators find us to be more of a problem than a solution?
Creative thinking. Right, you always share the good things, the great things, and the joy and the impact that your library and your program has on your students.
I love it. I hope you have a fantastic presentation, and thank you so much for sharing with us today.
Oh, thank you so much.
My name is Amanda, and I'm a middle school librarian. I have about 1,100 students, and I am fairly new to this school, so it's all about building culture and getting them in and showing them that the library is their space.
And what do you want to share with listeners today?
I think if I was going to give advice to any first-year librarian, I would tell them, don't stress the small stuff. It's all about getting books in the hands of kids and making relationships and connections. If you can make relationships and connections, then you're going to do your job awesome, and that's the main thing that matters.
So, Amanda, this is a great conference. I'm sure there were some things you were excited to learn about so you can bring it back to your own program. What are the kinds of things you're looking for here at the conference?
Middle school kids are hard. Like, catching their heart with a book is hard. So I just come to the conference to get new ideas, to get our kids excited about books. Last year I went home with book bingo, and now I have kids playing book bingo every single month. And so it's awesome. And it's great to come and get ideas to see what other people are doing to get our kids excited about books.
I love that. Well, I'm so glad that we had a chance to talk, and I have a great conference.
Thank you.
If you found this episode helpful, please share it out with your team, your PLN, and on social media. Be sure to follow on your favorite podcatcher so you'll never miss an episode. And if you really like listening today, consider leaving a review wherever you listen to podcasts. Reviews help others find us. Be sure to visit Learnics at LEARNICS.com to learn more and schedule a demo. If you mention that you heard about Learnics on School Librarians United podcast, you'll receive a 20% off your subscription. Use the code UNITED to take advantage of Capstone's generous $20 discount off an order of $100 or more. See the links in today's show notes. This week marks Thanksgiving in the United States, and I will be taking off some time to enjoy my family. I give thanks to our listening community who tune in each week. I am grateful for the exceedingly generous school librarians who share their time and talents. This podcast is only possible because of their willingness to schedule and record episodes throughout the year. Be sure to tune in December 6th and my conversation with Dr. Sarah Sansbury. I hope you will tune in.